Welcome to a new edition and what we call a continuation of the topic Museums and Cultural Heritage, the public relations perspective. Today, we are going to move forward. Of course, last week we talked about how our museums, monuments, and also cultural artifacts were not given the pride of place. But this week, we're going to look at the future. What plan, what blueprint do we have to enable us to sustain these museums, the monuments, and the like? Nigeria is a rich country culturally, and of course we should be proud of what we have. I still have this week architect Olale Yusuf. He's from the Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
And the great sculptor, the national treasurer of the Sculptors Association of Nigeria, in person of Dr. Kennedy Badaro. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your contribution last week.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. And I also appreciate the museum ambassador, the philatelist, and a legacy, a member of Legacy 95 of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. Of course, the man who is also standing here should present the public relations view, and how it should go in fostering, promoting, and communicating to the right publics on this cultural issue. Mr. Tailani, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, and thanks for sensitizing us, those who are within, so that we can also leverage on sensitizing those who are outside.
That's our duty. We have no choice.
Today is said to be yesterday's tomorrow.
Okay, that's good.
We need to move forward in thoughts and conduct as to how best to create a kind of generational baton, in which case we exchange from the old to the present, and to also look out for the future of this thing. But it needs a lot of public relations strategies. It needs a lot of collaboration. Government cannot do it alone. If members of the public don't go to our museums or to the Gallery of Arts, they don't attend art exhibitions, they will not get to have the beauty or get to know the beauty that is inherent in this, our cultural environment. They will not be able to appreciate. But now, with this kind of public sensitization, with this kind of collaboration and interconnectedness with people of like mind, you will see that we'll be able to make best of that situation. Because currently, I would say the situation is not too encouraging, but it can be better. And this is why we need to look out for getting the general public, getting the media, getting the government stakeholders to be interested in this heritage thing. Because without your culture, you amount to nothing. You cannot be respected anywhere. By the time you get out of Nigeria, you will see that in whatever country you go, you see how they showcase how they have been living in their environment through aesthetics of buildings, through aesthetics of works of art, and the pride in our works of art. That's why many of these things just one way or the other find outlets to all these places.
But let me quickly ask you, yes, because you are a museum enthusiast, you are a promoter of museum and its activities.
Yeah.
What has been the level of engagement when you talk of museums nationally and in the states? We see no level of activities in the states. What have you to say on that?
Yep. I would say in Lagos State, they are getting very much interested in having the coalition of their various museums. And just about April or May, the Commissioner for Tourism and Culture went round a number of museums in Lagos. Though they went to certain places like Oshodi, this new, but then a number of museums and places that had been demolished before. In Ilujoba, that's a place in Lagos which we even have somebody from Netherlands who did a fantastic research. They went around the Brazilian buildings. They are interested in seeing to how they can propagate this beauty of museum and how people should get to appreciate them as part of tourist centers in the state. But at the national level now, I could see recently the United States Consulate fraternized with the National Commission for Museum and Monuments and built a relaxation point there at the National Museum at Onikan. You need to be there. But there you will see, you are able to study encyclopedia of what America is. America really projected itself there. If we can learn from that, we will also go to so many nations and have such collaboration to showcase.
Thank you very much. That is talking about the town. But let's go to the gown, where Dr. Badu is plying his trade. How have you been able to imbibe the culture of cultural heritage and advancement in our youth? That is one. How have you been organizing the youth in ensuring the sustenance of these values?
Thank you very much. I sympathize with the youth of Nigeria today. When we were their age, we never had so many distractions. The youth of Nigeria today are faced with so many distractions. The internet, the mobile thing, everything there. The value system of our youth is quite different now. They will ask you, how long do you want to be working on artwork before you make your money? When you can stay in the place and do some little things and you receive your allowance. But I tell you, all is not lost. I have been a teacher all my life, and I'm proud to be a teacher. Very proud. So, and I've been able to study the different approaches that we can use. If you coerce the youth of nowadays, you may not get results.
Or is it the content, the educational content?
There's nothing wrong with our content.
Okay.
I can tell you that many of them even run away from classrooms because of the distractions I was telling you about. Some of them will only surface when it's time for exam. Such people, I call them, like my own children, counsel them and encourage them. I created a WhatsApp platform for everybody in my class. And we interact, I send messages.
Does it mean that continuous assessment is of no importance again?
No, it's of importance. Continuous assessment has a percentage in the overall score for the exam. But some of them, they have a way of going behind it. It's difficult for them to cut corners with practical courses. And the architect will bear it with me. It's difficult to cut corner with practical courses. But with theory courses, they can try to be smart. Now, for a blueprint that will make our culture, that will engender our culture, the NAFest is a national festival of art and culture annually. And I've observed in recent times that when the hosting of the festival is announced, it's only at the state capital or wherever is available that they organize and get people to represent the state.
What about the local government?
Wait a minute. When we were younger, we have schools art and culture festival at the primary level. We'll go and dance. From the schools, they take us to local government. From local government, they bring us to the state. Now, most of those children, they will say, what are they doing? And because of the, I don't know whether it's the cost of bringing them together or priority of whoever is in charge, they believe security challenges, they will feel the old ones, they will continue to use them. Now, when the old ones retire, there's going to be a generational gap. Who are those ones that are going to fill it up? We have the likes of Jimmy Sholanke. Baba is old, and we just pray that somewhere, someday, somebody will pick up the challenge I have a studio and I have a personal gallery of art. I've started bringing children from nursery schools to the studio, and I monitor them to their schools. I invite them regularly. They come to my studio, they come to my gallery. I demonstrate for them, give them materials. They will not bring materials. I will even entertain them. Then they will ask their mommy, what about that house that we went? We want to go again. Even in my church, there are a group of families that will say, oh God, we are bringing 10 children to your house for art practical. I say, no problem, bring them. Those ones will go and tell their friends, the next time I have population explosion. We have to take initiatives. Like my brother said, Mr. Taiwo, government cannot do it alone. What I am doing, I know I'm getting result. The result may not be too feasible now, but by the time the maturity comes, everybody will ask questions. Where have you been? How did you manage to get these children? Catch them young. When you want to encourage children, there are things that excite them that you must place on the table. But when you don't engage them creatively, they will go and engage themselves anyhow they like. That's why I said distractions are numerous in the present day Nigeria for youth.
Well, architects.
Yes, sir.
Because you can see them talking from live situation issues. Of course, you are part of the professional bodies that come up with what we know as structures or designs.
Yes.
And despite the government control, we also want to know how has your professional body been impacting knowledge in the area of sustaining our values?
Thank you very much, sir. There have been these deliberate attempts to organize programs that will bring in, especially the youth, to be aware of what we are doing as architectural bodies. I can tell you that there's a body, sometime last year around November, the Nigerian Institute of Architects organized its biennial conference, and at that conference students were invited and they were allowed to bring in their works, and renowned architects were able to also guide them on how to infuse some of these things that we're talking about, things that will depict what we are and who we are as a people. There's also this body, the Association of Nigerian Chartered Architects. They have what they call the student ecosystem, because if, as Dr. Badu said, if we allow this gap to continue widening, there's going to be a very big problem for us in the system, because we won't have people that will be taking over from the older generation that have benefited from the knowledge that some of us have also benefited from. So we have some deliberate moves that have been done, and with this current generation of youths that we have, they are more interested in what they see than reading. So we also have to be very deliberate in making most of these things that we're talking about to be visual to them. Take for example, in Ogun State alone, we have so many museums that we have not captured. I am aware of the Ibat Ogunde Museum, which is an in-situ museum.
I'll be there.
It is there. That museum, they are not aware. The museum is actually in his house, in his private residence in Ososade.
Yes.
And they have these dioramas within a room where they depicted a scene of Aye, one of the old frames of Ibat Ogunde. So when you get into that room, you get to understand what he was trying to pass across as a message. And these are some of the cultural things that we have. Within the Ojudioba Arena in Ijebu-Ode, there's a museum there, a museum that depicts the cultural realities of the Ijebu people. Shubomi Balogun has a private royal museum in Ijebu-Ode. So I think what we actually need is advocacy. Making so much noise. Maybe the media has a very strong role to play.
No doubt about it.
In depicting all these things that we're talking about, because most people are not aware of what we have. They are not aware. But as professional bodies, we are also trying our best to see how we can make the youth to see that there's a need for us to infuse our culture in whatever architectural styles that we want to bring forth.
Mr. Lani,
yes.
How much of cultural exchange and extension programs nowadays? I asked that because I remember the Brazilians will come to Nigeria to partner on certain things. I remember even on philately, you see countries coming to Nigeria to exchange ideas and complement each other on developments in a particular nation, and that helps in mutual growth.
Yeah, you see, there is always that intercultural exchange and collaboration. I was privileged to give a guest talk on Owambe, a Yoruba cultural wedding in Howard University. At the end of the guest talk, and we played Aefele, you could see the way and manner those Oyinbos. And in fact, when you go to many of our museums in Nigeria, you either see the school children or the Oyinbos coming. But when we start going out too, to have that impression of superiority of our culture, you'll be able to market your culture. But the moment there is that gap of inferiority, then you will feel that it's only whatever comes from them that is everything. But now you will see, because our ancestors and artifacts have been able to represent us in many of these countries, France, Germany, America. And those are things so cherished. I have a friend who retired as a director from the British Museum from Lagos State. You will see that whenever he was talking any forum that he was privileged to be, he will always encourage what we are saying now. So there should be that intercultural exchange from within the country and outside the country. That will help us again. And then some of these big companies, corporate organizations, should see it as part and parcel of their corporate social responsibility to help Nigeria to showcase its heritage outside the country. Finally, from this aspect, I think recently we got to know that Nigeria will be hosting the United Nations City or something bordering on tourism sometimes in November. Yes, this is an avenue for Nigeria to let the other parts of the world get to appreciate us. Take them round. It's not a matter of just delivering papers this time around, but let them have visitations to a number of sites that they will cherish and appreciate us better.
Dr. Badaro, I'm amused. I'm probably wondering what is the inherent benefit. I mean, talking contemporarily now, I could see some nations, nationals, getting to understand Yoruba culture, traditional ways, and even speaking the language. What does that mean to us? How rich is Nigerian culture?
Very rich.
Very, very rich.
When I was trying to look at culture holistically, ideals, ideas, custom, tradition, belief, and way of life of a group of people, very rich. If you take all these items I mentioned one by one, you can't exhaust it. The fact, I always thrive with Yoruba proverbs. It's when you say your material is not useful, that other people will use it to pack rubbish. If at our level we are carrying our culture the way we are supposed to carry it, I'm proudly an artist, and nobody can take that away from me.
I can see that, even your attire.
Even your attire.
So, but the fact remains that how many people in my category, in my age, in my profession also, I'm sorry to say that, will be that bold. All is not lost. We have to go back to the basics. Let's start from individual homes. Let's start giving our children orientation about our culture. In those days, moonlight story is there. Okay. We gather at the city square or the house of the elder in the community. They will tell us stories. While we are there, we will understand how they do things. I posted a picture on Facebook. No, it was it on Facebook, on WhatsApp this morning. 2 women, the older one sitting down and the younger one plaiting hair. That was what we experienced in polygamous home in those days. The junior wife will plait hair for the senior wife.
They will even sweep in the compound.
Together, they will cook for each other. There was no suspicion, no betrayal of trust. But what do we have now? It's complete rivalry.
Independence.
No, you can't outwit me. It's our husband. But the fact remains that I've seen some polygamous homes that the children do not know their mother until their age of 20. So depending on how we want to package ourselves, let's package our cultural values. Let's engage the institutions that are involved and saddle the responsibility of culture. Let's encourage them to move on and deliver the result for us.
Your take?
I think this is a wake-up call for all stakeholders within the society, because there's a need for us to start. It has to be participatory. Everybody must take ownership of the fact that we need to protect our identity. Our culture is our identity. It has to start from the way we dress, to our buildings, to the materials we use. Most times you find people, it is until they leave Nigeria that is when they start appreciating the Nigerian culture. But let's not wait till we leave the country before we start appreciating what we have. So let's start doing that from now. From the children down to the adults, it should be something that we should be proud of, our culture.
That's beautiful. Dr. Badaro, the last take.
My last take is that let's move forward with the vision to reposition how things happen. Let's move forward with the vision to make a difference. We can't leave the dust of Arctic time unswept. We must make up our minds to turn a new leaf.
Yes, we say it loud. I'm black and proud. I'm a Yoruba man, and I'm very, very mindful of my culture, and I'm very proud of it.
We are very proud of our culture. Black is beautiful. And until we are able to appreciate what we have, we may not understand what we'll be losing. Nigerians, it is time for us to embrace our culture, for us to promote our culture, for us to develop and make what we have to generate revenue, to generate visitations, tourism potential, and all the rest for Nigeria. Let us be ambassador of Nigeria. Until we do that, we may not have the rosy picture of the great Nigeria that we desire. Until next week, I want to thank my intellects who are seated here today. Mr. Tayolani,
The pleasure is mine.
it's always wonderful
Thank
to
you.
have you around.
Thank you.
I want to appreciate your sense of support. Always
Thank you.
glad to have you around.
Thank you.
Dr. Badaru, yeah, we thank God for knowing you. We believe that you are going to support us more on this program because we still have a lot of things to talk about. Thank you. God bless you. Architect Yusuf, it's been wonderful having you.
My pleasure being here, sir.
Well, you will continue to be of value to us.
No problem.
So until next week, when we're going to have another topic that will engender a better nation, that will position us as great Nigerians of great potentials, of great value, and cultural ambassadors. I want to say thank you to viewers once again until we meet next week. Bye.